there's a lot of chemical signals being deposited at these scrapes throughout those locations of a deer's head.
If we can keep him on our side of the fence for those 5-10 minutes, that's a difference maker for us.
Mock scrapes aren't just for trail cam pics. They're a powerful tool to steer buck behavior and set up killer ambush points. In this episode of Deer and Deer Hunting, we break down the science, setup, and secrets behind building scrapes that get results.
You know, one of the most exciting things today is to make mock scrapes. You see that interaction, especially when you're bow hunting. It's a very fun way to hunt whitetails. But before you go out and make mock scrapes, really step back and learn about scraping behavior, because there's a lot more to it than you probably think. Charlie Alsheimer taught us so much about this topic over the decades, and some of the things that he pinpointed was there's 3 different types of scrapes that bucks make. Number 1, you have boundary scrapes. Boundary scrapes are those scrapes that you find on field edges, in field corners, just kind of along the outer fringes of the whitetail's home range. And then you get into random scrapes, kind of the same thing, but a random scrape you might find in the middle of the woods. You might find one scrape, it's not used a lot, and you might think, oh, this is a dynamite spot. What you really want to look for are the primary scrapes, and these are the intersections. It's as easy as that when you think about it. Intersections of ecotones. So we're talking about where a swamp meets a heartwood ridge, or where other terrain features meet, and that's where deer travel. A lot of times they're in conjunction with well-used deer trails, and all deer of all ages will use these scrapes. Those primary scrapes are the ones that you want to key off of when you're making mock scrapes, because scrapes are a lot like rubs, and Greg Miller taught us this several decades ago. You can actually pinpoint rubs and connect the dots, so to speak, with rub lines. Scrapes are no different. It's where the deer travel and where they stop. So those are the things you want to understand first about scrapes before you start going out and trying to make your own. So now that you know why bucks make scrapes, understand what they deposit there. 3 different types of scent coming off a deer's head. The forehead gland, which is right on his forehead. He's going to rub that on the scrape to communicate with other deer. Does do it too. And then you're also going to have the preorbital gland, which is, some people might say, the most important gland. Just think about it, the corners of your eyes where you get sleep in the morning, that's the preorbital gland. You would not know it, but that waxy substance communicates a lot of chemical signals throughout the whitetail herd. And then finally, the nasal gland, which is the epithelium of that deer's nose. It's, when you think of a dog licking its nose, it's that whole epithelium passage. Lots of scent there that they can communicate, and obviously they chew on the scrapes, they lick the scrapes. There's a lot of chemical signals being deposited at these scrapes throughout those locations of a deer's head.
One of the things I find most troubling about trends in hunting today is, well, frankly, it's becoming more and more of a rich man's sport every day, which stinks, especially for the states that do not have a surplus of public hunting ground like Wisconsin does. Because, and I get it, the media outlets in the hunting industry have to be driven by advertising dollars, otherwise they can't bring you these shows, they can't bring you these magazines, they can't bring you these Facebook pages or anything in their YouTube channel. So it ends up getting this twisted perspective that you gotta have deep pockets. You don't have deep pockets, there ain't virtually everything. You wanna improve your hunting, well, you better start making some money, guys and girls, because nothing comes for free baloney. There's all sorts of free things that we can do, or virtually free. What we're going to talk about in this show are mock scrapes. There's no reason that anybody can't do this, and it does not have to cost you a cent. Want to take it up just a notch higher? Sure, we can go out, we can pick up the scent drippers, we can pick up the quality scents, but we don't have to. And there are a ton of advantages to mock scrapes. One of the biggest things that I do when it comes to management is to try to get whitetails to spend a disproportionate amount of time on my property. You are never, I don't care, the biggest property I have ever managed is 5,000 acres. 5,000 acres of free range, almost completely contiguous. Guess what? The bucks left. Not every single one, but some of the bucks cross that property line. Short of high fence, there's nothing you can do to make it so that your deer do not cross property lines. But what we can do is we can shift the percents up and down. That's what I strive to do. I strive to get whitetails to spend a disproportionate amount of time on the grounds I manage. How do you do that? You offer them better food, better water, better cover, better feeling of safety. Mock scrapes are one of the things that help me. That's a time waster. One of the purposes I use mock scrapes is to get them to waste time on my property in areas I want them to spend time. Sure, he may only spend 30 seconds. He may only spend 90 seconds working that mock scrape, but when he goes 10 yards further and does it again, and he goes another 20 yards and does it again, and goes another 30 yards and does it again, all of a sudden we're talking that 5-10 minutes, aren't we? And if we can keep him on our side of the fence for those 5-10 minutes, that's a difference maker for us.
I just got to camp. I want to show you my scent control program that I use because it starts at home. When I'm traveling, everything gets as descented as possible when I'm at home. I use tote tamers from Wildlife Research Center. I use them for everything. I put them in my boot, in my cases with my clothes and my gear. It helps keep them scent free. When I get to camp, an extra way to use these, I take my boots out right away. I take the tote tamers from my case right in the boot. And I'll leave those in there as I'm hunting. So when I go hunting, I take them out, obviously. I come back from hunting, they're gonna stay scent free, and I also spray them down with scent killer. With my clothes and my gear, I've had this washed, I've had it sprayed, I've had the tote tamers in there. I take it out of the pack. Again, it's gonna be hanging somewhere outside. My clothes is gonna stay in here until I hunt because I know that's nice and good. And then I bring along an extra pack of field wipes. These things are coming with me no matter where I go. Wipe my head off, wipe my crossbow off, my arrows, everything that I touch. Just think about it that way. It's gotta be a total scent-free approach. Everything that you touch, anything that can get odor on it, just constantly keep treating it. The more steps you can take, the higher your odds are gonna be.
After the break, Dan returns to Oklahoma for the second time this year for a nostalgic deer camp experience. Deer and Deer Hunting TV is brought to you by
So what's the actual purpose of making a mock scrape? Steve Bartilla said it best. You want to get deer to spend a disproportionate amount of time in front of your stands on your hunting property. That's why we make mock scrapes, because you might have a deer that would be passing through an area, especially a spot that you're bow hunting, a little kill plot in the woods. That buck might not come through that kill plot. He might visually check it. But if you have mock scrapes there, it gives him an extra incentive to actually step out, go to that mock scrape and work it, because that's what these deer are doing. So you know that when deer are using scrapes regularly, it's a pit stop, it's a bus stop. They're actually stopping in that specific spot. And that's where you can get creative, not only with what you use as far as scents. Urine is probably the best scent that you're gonna get, especially during hunting season, to get deer to stop. But also how long they're gonna stick around. And then when they're sticking around, how they're actually working that scrape. Sometimes a deer might just come in, maybe lick that scrape, the licking branch, and be on his way. Might paw it, might do something else. But how you have that branch positioned is key if you're hunting, to have that deer in a spot that you can shoot. So those are the things that you want to think about from a strategic standpoint when you get the scrapes established.
After hunting Oklahoma earlier in the season and bagging his biggest muzzleloader buck to date, Dan returns to the Sooner State to gun hunt with his good friend Eric Barnes.
Oklahoma is unique. They have a bow season that starts on October 1st, and then that comes in with a muzzleloader season a few weeks after that. And then there's another break of about a month, and you have centerfire season. So you can actually experience, most states obviously you have the different seasons, but you get to experience those distinct seasons just a couple weeks apart, and a lot of times the rut activity for whitetails overlaps on all three. We get into camp, and lo and behold, we kind of knew what we were getting into, but I didn't think it was going to be this cool. It was a tent camp. And if you've never tent camped for deer hunting, you have to do it. First evening, David and I are going to a spot, and we don't even get to the spot, and we're seeing deer already. And there's plenty of daylight left. We weren't expecting that. Warm temperatures in the afternoon. Another classic thing, bitter cold in the morning, clear skies, gives way to really nice, pleasant temperatures middle of the day and late afternoon. So we're going out there, we see a bunch of deer moving already, and we get up into a pretty high stand situation that I wasn't quite ready for. But it's tight quarters, we're looking over, it's basically a dry creek area, but deer start funneling out. And I would like to say I was going to be super picky and hold out for a lot of days, but I knew that there was a lot of guys in camp, and gals, that wanted to get their hands on an Oklahoma buck, so I wasn't going to be picky. I just wanted a nice representative deer, and it took us a few hours to finally have one show up and come in, and well, you can see what happened.
How far is that? 375. That's a big buck.
Whitetail hunters, they're always trying to conceal themselves, whether it's the best camouflage, high spot in a tree, or, hey, a permanent blind. Now, the older I get, and I'm no spring chicken, that's for sure, I love sitting in a permanent blind. Why? Well, I'll give you 3 quick points. First of all, scent control. It keeps your scent trapped inside. It holds the scent in. As long as you don't have too many windows open, letting too much of a draft come through. Now, the second reason I like a permanent blind is the fact that it keeps sound tight and keeps it controlled. When you're in a tree stand, maybe in a ground blind, they're just flimsy fabric, that noise can permeate out. Well, newer blinds are coated inside with noise suppression materials. The windows are sealed tight and the doors are sealed tight. Those 2 things, that's enough. But again, remember, I'm an old guy. So what else do I like about it? The comfort. I just enjoy being outdoors, looking for deer, looking out a window and sitting in a nice, comfortable chair, having a sandwich, maybe listening to something in my earbud. And then when it rains, it snows, the temperature's really cold, heck, who cares? So Banks, the Stump 2 Phantom, that's the one we're gonna go into here during hunting season, but we got that thing set up in the pre-season. My buddy Greg, he's got it in a good position right out in the middle of a food plot. It's a perfect location that you can put a decoy out or just sitting there as the deer mill around and feed in the food plot. I'm looking forward to this sit any time of the hunting season.
Now, when I first spied this buck, he's probably 400 or 500 yards away. I'm not taking that shot even with the centerfire rifle. I want to see this deer a little bit closer. And we weren't sure if he was going to come in, so we're just kind of, basically, we're at the play watching this all play out. I'm getting a little bit nervous. I don't want to spook him. He's definitely a deer I want to shoot. So I'm going to try to take him first opportunity. He's right there. He's right there. Right there. Yeah. Watch him, watch him, watch him, watch him. He's going down right there. Right there. He's right here. Oh yeah. Beautiful 9-pointer. First day of the hunt. And I don't know what to say. I mean, it was just a great hunt. It was cold. We saw a lot of deer. We saw a bunch of does, some spikes, some other bucks come in, and this beautiful buck came in right at the end and gave me a great shot. It's time to celebrate and get back to camp. A very fun aspect of this camp is we had such a diverse group of people that we generally cared about everybody else. Oh, did so-and-so see one, or did they get one? And when you come back into camp, everybody wants to hear your story. You know, the food and drinks were flowing by the time we got back to the lodge. It was a very happy situation. But you know what? Nothing says deer camp like an awesome campfire and a meat pole full of bucks. He's dead right there.